Saturday, I had seen the score between Brighton and Man City at halftime, and at the time, Man City were leading 1-0. And I thought to myself, well, probably business as usual. Man City are leading at halftime. They'll probably win this. And I didn't keep myself aware of of the score of that match, through at all during the second half, in fact. And it was after that match finished, then I looked at the score, and I was quite surprised to see, Brighton winning 2-1. So Brighton has scored, 2 goals in the second half to overturn the initial lead that Man City had, winning 2-1. But what that also meant was this gave Liverpool the opportunity to open up a 5-point lead at the top of the table if Liverpool could win their match later on, right after the Man City match, in fact. And as it were, Liverpool did win that match 2-0, with two very nice, very fast on the break counter-attack goals. And amusingly, both of those goals came from Aston Villa's set pieces. The first one was from a corner. The second one was from a throw-in, I believe. Both times the set piece came in, Liverpool cleared, and they got the ball on the break, just sprinting into the Aston Villa half with basically no one there. No one there in front of them. It was everyone chasing behind them. And amusing as it was, the fact that both Liverpool goals came from such situations, probably even more amusing was the fact that Liverpool had even more chances that also came from such situations. There was the Nunes chance in the first half. This was after he had already scored to make the 1-0, and he had this chance. It was a very good chance, 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper to make it 2-0, but he hit it over the bar. Then there was the other one where Salah was on the ball, and he was leading the break down the right hand side. He tried to square the ball for Gakpo, I believe it was, but the defender had intercepted the pass. So off the top of my head, I can think of those 2 chances, and then the 2 that Liverpool did score. So that is at least 4 counter attacks that that either led to goals or could have led to a very good chance, or in this case, lead to the chance to kick the ball all the way out the stadium. And I can't remember if there were more than that, but it is at least 4. So it was quite amusing to see, the fact that Aston Villa, after having conceded a goal in that manner, and then conceded another very big chance in that manner, and somehow it's like just getting caught in this kind of manner again and again and again, and not learning the lesson, or seemingly not learning the lessons. So it was very nice to see Liverpool, win the match, and even nicer to to look at the table as it is right now. Top of the table by 5 points, and I think there's another what, 7 or 8 teams, something like that, behind Man City in the table, all of whom are within 5 points of Man City. So it is quite intriguing, and quite close, quite tight at this top half of the table, with many teams just within touching distance, within nose to nose distance, of a top 4 position. But to be 5 points clear at the top of the table, yes, it is only November. Yes, it is still not even a third of the season yet. But sometimes it just feels better to be top of the table than not to be. And at the very least, a gap like that means that no matter what happens in the next match week, Liverpool will at least finish that match week at the top of the table. And if I remember correctly, Liverpool will be hosting Man City at the end of the month, I think. I think is what there's the Champions League match against Real Madrid. Then the weekend immediately following that will be the match against Man City. So it's two huge, very high stakes, huge opponents, back to back, both at Anfield. It's going to be a very big week. It's going to be a very big week that to some degree, to some extent, could shift the tide of a title race, or in the case of the Champions League, where both teams could finish, their chances of either being in the top 8 and making it in the round of 16 directly, or ending up in that 9th to 24th position and then getting through to that preliminary knockout round, or whatever they call it, that additional knockout round, just to make it to the round of 16. So it's a big week. It's a big week. As for the Aston Villa match itself, watching it again, Aston Villa, for the most part, they didn't do too badly. A number of occasions when they had their chances, they had good situations. They were also, they did have their moments where they tried to impose themselves on the match. The fact that they had as many corners as they did, and a number of those corners, they forced Kelleher into some really good point blank saves, reaction saves, that kind of very close on the line type of situations. Those the kinds where just just that little bit, either side, it would have been a goal type of thing. So it wasn't as if Liverpool had it entirely comfortably, like an easy day out having a picnic kind of thing. Liverpool had to work hard and be alert, and be defensively solid in moments and situations when called upon. Then both teams, it kind of like at times a bit of a midfield scrap, quite physical. I recall sort of like periods of when Liverpool had the ball and they were just passing it around, probing, looking for any kind of openings to build their way through. But Aston Villa, they kept their shape well. It wasn't like they parked the bus or anything like that. The position that the team took up was probably more considered as a mid block. But they kept their shape. The players were good distance from each other. So even within that mid block, they never really allowed much space between the lines, and between each other. Never really allowed Liverpool much in the way of much of a quality build up, slow build up type of thing, or pen Aston Villa back in their box type of situation. And again, so looking at it, so of course it is quite telling that Liverpool's best chances and biggest chances all came from those counter attacks when Aston Villa had pretty much everybody up forward and no one behind, which allowed Liverpool to counter attack in the way that they did. But sometimes that's just the way it is with football or any sports in general. Oftentimes when if you think about a so-called ideal way of playing, or an ideal way of dominating an opponent, dominating possession, dominating the territory, dominating the chances, 20 30 chances, 80 90 possession, 80-90% possession, that sort of thing. It sounds ideal, it looks ideal on paper, but there's always going to be those kinds of matches where an opponent is good enough to not allow you to do that. When an opponent is good enough to cause trouble for you in their own way. And when an opponent that's good enough to not allow you to dominate in the way that you hope you can. And then you have to think up of ways to try and make a difference. Think out of ways on the fly to try and get some goals to win the match. To just take an opening that sort of just they just surreptitiously opens up. That happy coincidence. It just unexpected. An unexpected opening. You didn't unexpected opening that just comes up just like that in the moment, and just like that, that instinct, having that instinct to take the chance, and go and make it happen. So I think this is kind of what happened with this match, and taking the chance on the counter attack, as the opening presented itself. So it was, it's a good win. It's a professional win. Decisive in attack when needed to be, and also resilient in defense when needed to be. Kelleher did very, very well with the saves that he produced, and Salah again doing Salah things. And speaking of Salah, the number of times that I have sung his praises, and the number of times that he has been the difference maker for the team. He's been in Liverpool for over 7 years now. This is his 8th season. And in 7 whole seasons prior to the start of this one, he scored something like 210 goals for Liverpool, there or thereabouts. So he's been averaging 30 goals a season for 7 seasons now up to this point. Those are tremendous numbers for any forward. Of course, I get that he's not a a central striker, a number 9. He is a right winger, but he's not that the kind of hug the touchline, get crosses in kind of right winger. He's more like an inside forward type of right winger. But realistically speaking, whether you are an inside forward, or a central striker, number 9, any of these positions across the forward line, left side, right side, center, he is the main goal getter in this team, in much the same way that a number 9 would be for other teams. And this is and the numbers that he's put up consistently for 7 whole years plus a few months now, is truly impressive for any forward player. And the number of times that he has single-handedly been the difference between a draw and a win, or a loss and a win. Just amazing player, and hopefully he'll be able to stay for even longer yet. At the rate that he's currently going, he's already in the top 10 for all-time Liverpool goal scorers. And if he could stay for another few more years, and somehow still consistently manage the kind of output that he has managed up to this point, maybe he might even be able to hit maybe 300 goals. It probably might be a stretch, but even if not 300, maybe 250. It's those would be some seriously impressive numbers. And and it is truly a privilege to be able to see a player this good, a player this good and consistently deliver match after match, year after year, and play that huge, critical, contributing factor to Liverpool winning the trophies that they have won in the recent seasons, in the past 5 to 6 years. Players this good don't come along all that often. And so I think, it would be really, really nice for the team to continue holding on to him, so that he can keep doing what he does best for the team.